it once was a little punk metal diver's fuck store. Which one? No, come on, this is behind the store. Yeah, it's I don't know who's old enough, apart from fucking was Caroline, but thrash grind grunge over on Morford Street.
Harry's in the building.
Harry!
Yeah, he's fucking hiding, man. Scared as fuck, but he makes everyone look, he's not mean as fuck that everyone hides from him, but he's like actually very nice, man. But this particular store sold all sorts of fucked up music, and I mean that the best way. Next door to that, opened up a store called Factotum Books, fucked up zines, books, you name it. I came along and met the fucking loser owner of the joint called Cammy, and formed Proxton Press at the time, trying to scout some authors. Got him to find some good authors for me. I didn't even bother telling him that I wanted his material in the first book, so I thought, you know, keep the bitch hungry and he'll work harder for me. And but yeah, it was in the first Proxton book back in 1998.
Yeah.
He's been in like 5 or 6 anthologies since, and then in 2009, I think it was, released his first novella. Am I right? 2009?
2001.
2001? Can't be. Right after Jack Porn.
That's when we went to.
Jesus Christ. Right after these CDs looking for Japanese porn, which we have our one remaining t-shirt of. Yes, there you go. Okay, 2009 was a reprint. Alright, okay, fuck that. 2001, basically he had this novella, pretty good. The characters, or the main character from that novella, is in the book that we're launching tonight. Now, you can read them one after the other, and for that, you know, we've got his book here tonight. It's being launched at $30. The other one's 20, but you can get it 10 tonight if you want to get it both. It's up to you if you want to read them in order or not. The advantage of reading SF&T, which stands for Such Fucking Tattoo, the reason reading that first is because you get to know the background of the character. The reason maybe not to read it first is Cammy was a bit shitter then. Which is a roundabout way of saying that this book is his best work. Normally I'd raise beer to Cammy for this, but he's chosen health, sobriety over dying young like myself, and he has quit alcohol. Oh, fuck you! Okay, let's launch it over, we'll go on. But yeah, but it really is, it's a fucking good book. It's $30 tonight, and if you don't buy it, well, who the hell hasn't bought it? Most people have, so thank you very fucking much. He's going to get up here, he's going to do an extract from it, and yeah, maybe just talk some general shit. Although, as I said, he is sober, and it's such a disappointment to us all.
So yes, Fist of Love, been a long time in the making. Daniel's right, it is the best thing I ever wrote, and SF&T, now that I look back, is very embarrassing, but then I was actually young then. So, it's kind of hard when it's a book, because poetry, you just read a poem, bang, done. With a book, you got to decide what fucking bits do I read that don't give away too much without explaining too much. So we'll start with the prologue. That'll be easy. The rain was cold on his back, not a heavy downpour, just a drizzle, cold and tiptoeing across his spine, his bare ass, his legs. It didn't stop them though. It was Christmas morning, 3:45 a.m, 9 months and 16 days since their son had died. 6 months exactly since they had separated, and now they were naked on her back lawn fucking. Not a word passed between them, just grunts, moans, air pushing in and out from mouth and groin. He felt that familiar tingling, felt his toes starting to curl, as they always did, and he came. He was always in two minds after orgasm. The feeling was so good, so intense, but then there was always the feeling of disappointment that the act was over, a sense of loss, finality. She heard his toes crack, felt the final thrust and he let go and the movement stopped. She clutched his back, holding him inside her, once again wishing he could have held on just a little longer. Slowly he rolled off of her and lay sweating on the lawn, light rain now sprinkling his chest. He peeled the condom off his now shrinking dick and flung it towards the cat and was watching from the shelter of the tank stand. She hadn't moved, just lay there breathing heavily, eyes closed. Raising himself from one elbow, he looked at her. He could see drips of rain sitting, resting on her pubis and breasts. Her stomach was damp with rain, sweat, saliva. All was quiet now. As if conscious of his steady gaze, she turned towards him and opened her eyes. There was nothing there. She said 2 words, "Go home." Then closed her eyes and turned away. He stood on the back veranda pulling his jeans on, watching her. She was pure white against the black of night, and he remembered a line from a poem he'd read once. When he made you, he came all over his blessed universe. She hadn't moved. As he turned to leave, she rolled over and watched him. She didn't get up until she heard his car starting, the stereo too loud for this hour of the morning. Only then did she gather up the energy to rise and collect her clothes from the hall. She went inside and ran a hot shower. Outside, the cat sniffed around the discarded condom, tapped it lightly with both front doors, and then turned and walked away. Right, so the 2 main characters are Jason and Cindy, who are from the first book. Obviously you heard in the prologue, their child had died. They split up, then Cindy gets cancer, because I needed a plot line.
You're an arsehole.
Because I'm an arsehole.
Depressing piece of shit.
Actually, when the first book came out, Daniel's then girlfriend, who hadn't read the book, came up to me, I can't remember, I think it was at the launch, walked up to me, punched me in the arm and said that was for Hank. It's the name of the boy in the book that died. Because she was so pissed off that I killed the child. And she didn't see it coming. Anyway, Cindy's crook. And she wants him to drive her home. Because who else is going to do it but him? When Cindy was first diagnosed, it barely registered. He was in a self-destructive relationship with a young singer who liked being dominated while still pretending to family and friends she was the Virgin Mary. He always wondered how she explained the scars and welt marks, but he didn't dwell too long on it. Cindy's cousin Greg rang him to tell him about the cancer. Cindy still wasn't talking to him. Jason muttered some pleasantries, promised to visit her in hospital, and then climbed back into bed with Virgin Queen. When she got sick of his drinking, interfering with their sex life and dumped him for an ambulance driver, he wallowed in misery for 5 days and nights before realising that really, he just didn't give a fuck. He was living in a 1-bedroom concrete block with a view of 6 other concrete blocks, working as a casual storeman in a furniture shop and drinking himself to sleep every night of the week. He was pathetic, and he finally realised it. He called Cindy and arranged to visit her. Seeing her in a hospital bed, a drip hanging from her arm, the head in bandages, was a job Jason needed to get back to some form of reality. It scared him that he'd been so blasé about her diagnosis that he probably wouldn't have got around to visiting her if the Virgin Mary hadn't dumped him. He realised then that he really didn't like himself. That was why... Fuck that. Good thing it's in the slang. He realised then that he didn't really like himself. That was why he needed others, why he was always trying to get laid. He just wanted someone else to like him, to justify his existence, because he couldn't anymore. He gradually weaned himself back to 3 or 4 days of drinking and only a couple of nights of serious binging. Started eating better and stopped chasing skirt. He would go and see Cindy every few days and make sure she was okay. He found a weight bench in the classifieds and started exercising. Bought some new shirts, lost some weight. He felt good about himself. And he realised that was what he was looking for. He no longer needed confirmation from other people. He liked himself now. Of course, that wasn't completely true. There was one person he still needed, and he wished he knew how to tell her that. And he wished she wasn't dying. I really don't know if I read every one on that or let you buy the book, to be honest. But if I can find it, there's one bit of...
69 here.
Page 69. It's pretty close to where I was looking. Somewhere here there's one little humorous bit. This is my theory that I've given to another character. He was sitting on the balcony with Mark. The sun was shining, the stereo was turned up, and they had a bottle of wild turkey. Did I ever tell you my theory about Sesame Street? Asked Mark as he poured another drink. No, I don't believe you've shared that theory with me as yet. Jason sipped at the drink. Mark always made them strong. Well, I've been thinking about attention spans, how everyone's is shorter now. He nodded, took another sip. And I reckon it's because of Sesame Street. I don't understand. How does Kermit the Frog give us a shorter attention span? Mark stood up and waved his arms. Think about it. Sesame Street is, what, 20 or 30 years old now? Jason thought back. Yeah, I guess so. I saw it when I was a kid, so that's got to be 20, 25 at least. And what does the show do? It jumps from segment to segment. He paused as Amy came out in a t-shirt and tiny black shorts. Don't let me stop you, she said, and rested against the balcony. Mark continued. You see, the show is short, sharp bursts of letters, numbers, songs, always changing styles and shapes, jumping around from segment to segment. He took another sip. And it's been doing that for maybe 30 years, and that's what, 3 or 4 generations of kids? You're telling the story, Jason said. It's the same thing, Jace. No attention span, sound bites, media blurbs, cut and paste, Sesame Street. It's that show. We grew up on short bursts of letters and words and hand puppets and information, and now we have no fucking attention span. I turned to Amy. Do we? Sorry, she said. I wasn't listening. Even though it's all fists of love and I've had the jokes about sex and violence, it is about the violence of love. Buy it, read it, cry a bit, hopefully, if I've done my job right, and make Daniel rich. I do have some thank yous that I have to do. First of all, I have to thank my wife Diane for putting up with me for all these years, for saying this book was good, because she proofread it, and once saying to me after reading Tim Winton, so people do read the sort of shit we write. My daughter Beth always pushing me of being the real creative force in the family. Watson, for his continued support and belief. It's been a very long road with him. And he actually is like a little brother to me, and I know this is true because some days I actually love him, and other days I just want to beat the little snot out of him. To Karen, Mother Poetry, because she's the one behind the scenes doing all the hard work, and we lays around and do fuck all. She's got the balls, she believes in the words, and while we waver, she's the one that's always picking up the pace. To Nadia, hashtag talented bastards I know. Thank you. Another country kid dazzled by the big smoke who likes words and booze and has total attitude. I mean, what's there not to love in that? Tam and Jive, because they always support not just me and Daniel, but the arts in Adelaide in general. And Tam has put up with my shit a lot longer than anyone else in this room has. And she still likes me for some reason. I have no fucking idea why. But she does it, and I'm so grateful. Sad bits. Rob Dunstan, wherever he is, probably outside the pearly gates having a cigarette and a laugh, but the world got duller when he left us. The boys from Get Some who are going to play later, because I love you cunts. And for all those fuckers that aren't here anymore, Ganders and Sharpie and Grudgy and Alison and Schlumpf and Pete and Jace and all the others, I miss you more than you'll ever know.